Kṛṣṇa Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. A very warm welcome on behalf of Inishratal and Govindadwipa for this Monday, 19th July 2021 morning Srimad-Bhagavatam discussion. We are talking from Srimad-Bhagavatam Canto 1, Chapter 14, entitled The Disappearance of Lord Kṛṣṇa, text 31. Before we discuss on this verse, let's sing Jai Radha Madhav. Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari, Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari, Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivara Dhari, Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivara Dhari, Yashodanandana Prajajana Ranjana, Yashodanandana Prajajana Ranjana, Yashodanandana Prajajana Ranjana, Yashodanandana Prajajana Ranjana, Yamuna Tira Vanachari, Yamuna Tira Vanachari, Yamuna Tira Vanachari, Yamuna Tira Vanachari, Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari, Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari, Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivara Dhari, Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivara Dhari, Yashoda Nandana Prajajana Ranjana, Yashoda Nandana Prajajana Ranjana, Yashoda Nandana Prajajana Ranjana, Yashoda Nandana Prajajana Ranjana, Yamuna Tira Vanachari, Yamuna Tira Vanachari, Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari, Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari, Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivara Dhari, Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivara Dhari, Yashodanandana Prajajana Ranjana, Yashodanandana Prajajana Ranjana, Yashodanandana Prajajana Ranjana, Yashodanandana Prajajana Ranjana, Yamuna Tira Vanachari, Yamuna Tira Vanachari, Yamuna Tira Vanachari, Yamuna Tira Vanachari, Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari, Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari, Hare Krishna Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jai Radha Govinda, Radha Govinda, Radha Govinda, Shri Radhe. Jaya Radha Govinda, Radha Govinda, Radha Govinda, Shri Radhe. Jai Nitai Sachinandana Gaura Hari, Nitai Sachinandana Gaura Hari. Jai Nitai Sachinandana Gaura Hari, Nitai Sachinandana Gaura Hari. Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Prabhupada. Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura, Hari Bol. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahansa Pariyujakacharya Ashtotra Shri Srimad His Divine Grace Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada ki Jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnavrinda ki Jai. नामाचार्य श्रीला हरिदास ठाकुर की जय। प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद की जय। श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरि गोवर्धन की जय। वृंदावन धाम की जय, मथुरा धाम की जय, जगन्नाथपुरी धाम की जय, मायापुर धाम की जय, गंगा माई की जय, यमुना माई की जय, तुलसी देवी की जय, भक्ति देवी की जय, सामवेद भक्तवृंद की जय। All glories to the assembled devotees. Hare Krishna. All glories to the assembled devotees. Hare Krishna. All glories to the assembled devotees. Hare Krishna. All glories to Sri Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Namam Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Sarvam Shri Krishna Arpanamastu. Krishne Materastu. Hare Krishna. Today we are reading from Srimad-Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 14, entitled The Disappearance of Lord Kṛṣṇa, Text 31. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. The verse is suṣeṇaś cārudeṣṇaś sāmbo jāmbavatī-sutaḥ anye kārṣṇi-pravarāḥ saputrā ṛṣabhādayaḥ. Suṣeṇaś cārudeṣṇaś sāmbo jāmbavatī-sutaḥ anye kārṣṇi-pravarāḥ saputrā ṛṣabhādayaḥ. Suṣeṇaś cārudeṣṇaś sāmbo jāmbavatī-sutaḥ anye kārṣṇi-pravarāḥ saputrā ṛṣabhādayaḥ. Word by word. Suṣeṇaḥ, Suṣeṇa, cārudeṣṇa, Cha and Sāmba, jāmbavatī-sutaḥ, the son of Jāmbavati. Anye, others. Cha, also. Kārṣṇi, the sons of Lord Kṛṣṇa. Pravarāḥ, all chieftains. Saputrā, along with their sons. Ṛṣabha, Ṛṣabhādayaḥ, etc. Translation. Are all the chieftain sons of Lord Kṛṣṇa, such as Suṣeṇa, Cārudeṣṇa, Sāmba, the son of Jāmbavati, and Ṛṣabha, along with their sons, all doing well? Purport by His Divine Grace Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai. As already mentioned, Lord Kṛṣṇa married 16,108 wives, and each of them had 10 sons. Therefore, 16,108 into 10 is 161,080 sons. They all grew up, and each of them had as many sons as their father. And the whole aggregate was something near 1,610,800 family members of the Lord. The Lord is the Father of all living beings, who are countless in number. Therefore, only a few of them are called to associate with the Lord in His transcendental pastimes as the Lord of Dwaraka on this earth. It is not astonishing that the Lord maintained a visible family consisting of so many members. It is better to refrain from comparing the Lord's position to ours, and it becomes simple truth as soon as we understand at least a partial calculation of the Lord's transcendental position. King Yudhishthira, while inquiring about the Lord's sons and grandsons at Dwaraka, mentioned only the chieftains among them, for it was impossible for him to remember all the names of the Lord's family members. Before we discuss on this verse, let us offer some prayers. Om Ajnanatimidandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kada Mahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Nama Shreshtham Manamapi Shachiputram Atra Swarupam Rupam Tasyagrajam Murupurim Mathurim Goshthavati Radha Kundam Girivaram Maho Radhika Madhavasham Prapto Yasya Pratita Kripaya Shri Gurum Tam Natosmi Vandeham Shri Gurum Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha Adadandastrinam dante idam yachah punaha punaha Shriman Rupa Padambhojam Dhulisyam Janma Janmani. He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vancha Kalpa Tarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya eva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shrivasadi Gaur Bhaktavrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Srimad-Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 14, entitled The Disappearance of Lord Kṛṣṇa, Text 31, suṣeṇaś cārudeṣṇaś sāmbo jāmbavatī-sutaḥ anye kārṣṇi-pravarāḥ saputrā ṛṣabhādayaḥ are all the chieftain sons of Lord Kṛṣṇa, such as Suṣeṇa, Cārudeṣṇa, Sāmba, the son of Jāmbavatī, and Ṛṣabha, along with their sons, all doing well. As we know from the verses that has been going in the preceding verses, this is the questions being asked by Yudhishthira Maharaj to Arjuna, who is his brother. Arjuna was in Dwaraka, and he came back from Dwaraka, back to Hastinapur, where Yudhishthira is reigning the kingdom. And Yudhishthira is inquiring about Kṛṣṇa and his family. In this particular verse, Yudhishthira is inquiring about the sons of Lord Kṛṣṇa, who are, he has mentioned the four names here, the sons of Kṛṣṇa: Suṣeṇa, Cārudeṣṇa, Sāmba, the son of Jāmbavatī, and Ṛṣabha. And he is mentioning along with their sons. And Srila Prabhupada mentions in the purport about Krishna's marriage to 16,108 wives. This is the transcendental position of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna. Namam karmani limpanti, name karma phale spruha, itimam yogi janati, karmar bhir nasa badhyate. This is the understanding that we can get from this verse, from the purport of Srila Prabhupada. That Krishna, when he was born and during his life, he has done things that no one else can do. This is the transcendental potency of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And even though Krishna has done so many things, for example, he has 8 main wives called Ashtabharya, the 8 main wives, for Rukmini, Satyabhama, Jāmbavatī, Kalindi, Nagnajiti, Mitravinda, and Lakshmana. So all this, Krishna has got 8 main wives, and then he has got 16,100 other wives. And we can understand how this happened by listening to this wonderful pastime of the Lord. This is the most important part of all the scriptures, to discuss about the pastimes of Krishna and his devotees. Krishna actually mentions in Adi Purana, Yeme bhakta jana partha nime bhaktascha te jana mad bhaktanam cha ye bhakta teme bhakta tamo mata. Krishna mentions that who are actually my devotees are not my devotees. The devotee of my devotee is actually my devotee. This is the transcendental position of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, that the more one is down in line of devotion, the topmost devotee that person is. Because the link becomes even stronger when it goes through the disciplic succession, the pure disciplic succession of the Lord. Krishna invests all the powers in his pure devotees. Sadhavo hridayam mahyam sadhunam hridayam tva aham madanya tena janati naham tebhyo managavi. Krishna mentions this to Durvasa Muni. This is that pastime where Ambarish Maharaj is doing the Ekadashi Vrata. And then the next day, Durvasa Muni is coming with thousands of his disciples. And they have to break the fast. So Ambarish Maharaj takes water as breaking the fast. And then Durvasa Muni says that you have taken something before us. So he becomes angry. And when he becomes angry, he's trying to curse Ambarish Maharaj. And then Krishna's Sudarshan Chakra goes behind Durvasa Muni. And Durvasa Muni goes everywhere. And in the end, he's surrendering onto the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Kṛṣṇa. And then Krishna says this, that I am in the heart of pure devotees. Actually, Krishna is in the heart of all the living entities. This is Sarvasya Chaham Hridi Sannivishto Matta Smritir Jnanam Apohanam Cha. Krishna mentions in Bhagavad Gita that I am in the heart of all the living entities. So Krishna is actually in the heart of all the living entities. However, only pure devotees who have surrendered onto Krishna can see him constantly. So this is the transcendental position of Krishna and his devotees. And therefore Krishna says, Sadhavo Hridayam Mahyam. Sadhunam Hridayam Tva Aham. So the sadhus are in my heart. Krishna is constantly remembering the pure devotees and constantly associating with the pure devotees. Sadhavo Hridayam Mahyam Sadhunam Hridayam Tva Aham. So Krishna says that in the heart of the pure devotees, I am there. It does not mean that Krishna is not there in the heart of all the living entities. Krishna is actually there in the heart of all the living entities. Upadrashta Anumanta cha Bharta Bhokta Maheshwara Paramatmeti cha apikto Dehesmin Purushah Para. So Krishna is present as the Paramatma, as the super soul in the heart of all the living entities. But because the pure devotees have surrendered 100% to Krishna, they are very dear to Krishna. Samoham sarva bhuteshu name dveshyosti napriya ye bhajanti tu me bhaktya mai te teshu chapyaham. Krishna mentions in Bhagavad Gita that I am equal to all the living entities. Sama aham. I am equal to all the living entities. Sarva bhuteshu. And Krishna says, Name dveshyosti napriya. So there is no one who I envy or who I am against, and there is no one who is very dear to me. But ye bhajanti tu me bhaktya mai te teshu chapya. So Krishna says that when someone is surrendering to me in full-hearted way, in 100% way, then Krishna is also ye yatha mam prapadyante tam sthataiva bhajamyaham. Mama vartamanu vartante manushya partha sarvasha. Krishna mentions that whoever is surrendering in whatever way to me, I reciprocate accordingly to such a person. This 16,100 wives. What is the story? What is the reality? And this is very important. It is reality. It's not a mythology. There is a very, and this is the difference between one who has faith and one who does not have faith. Shraddhavan labate jnanam. That is faith. Faith is Shraddha. So one who has faith, such a person gets the knowledge. Even for acquiring material knowledge, one has to have faith. What do we mean by having faith? We study the subjects. When we are studying a subject, we are putting some faith in the subject. We are reading the subject with the understanding that I'm going to get some knowledge out of this subject. I'm going to gain knowledge and I'm going to become a better person. So this is where the faith is extremely important. Srila Prabhupada gives a very good example that even to go from one destination to another destination, one has to have faith that using this medium of transportation, I will be able to get to that destination. For example, if someone is traveling in an aeroplane, one has to have faith that this aeroplane will fly over a huge distance at 30,000 plus feet, and it will land properly, and it will get me to a particular destination, wherever I want to go. So even for normal day-to-day activities, one has to have faith. What to speak of the transcendental spiritual activity of Krishna consciousness? How much faith one has to have? It has to be ingrained, it has to be inbuilt. It has to be an intrinsic part of our nature. And actually, it is an intrinsic part of our real spirit soul. Spirit soul is made up of 100% faith. And that is the reason it is able to animate the body. And when we understand who we really are, that we are part and parcel of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Mame Vamsho Jiva Loke Jiva Bhuta Sanatana. Sanatana, eternally. We are eternally part and parcel of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. There is not even a moment when we are separated from the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Not even a moment. We are eternally connected. And this connection can be realized when we have that faith. And with that faith, let's understand this story where there is Narakasura, this demon who is reigning Pragjyotishpur. That is the kingdom that he is reigning. And he is the son of Bhumi Devi. And he has got the boon that only the Bhumi Devi can kill him. So this Narakasur, he is also called as Bhaumasur because he is Bhumi Devi's son. So he is causing chaos across the world because he is unfortunately demoniac. And he has taken control of the three worlds, Ghur Bhuva Swaha, the heavenly planets, the earthly planet, and the underworld region. So in that situation, and he has actually made captive 16,100 different queens of different places, princes. And Krishna and Satyabhama. Satyabhama is an incarnation of Bhumi Devi. So Krishna and Satyabhama are going on Garuda to this place where Narakasura is reigning, and they fight the battle, and Krishna kills the demon Mura, who is the commander-in-chief of Narakasura's army. And therefore Krishna is called Murari, the enemy of Mura. That's another name of Krishna. Kamsari, the enemy of Kamsa. This is the transcendental position of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, that even the demons, they attain liberation when they are killed by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Of course, that liberation is Sayujya Mukti. That is becoming one with the impersonal effulgence of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the Brahma Jyoti. Hiranmayena patrena satyasya apahita mukham tattvam pushan apavruno satya dharmaya drishtaye. This is mentioned in Sri Ishopanishad, where it is said that where the devotee is asking Krishna to remove the glaring effulgence from his face. Hiranmayena patrena satyasya apahita mukham tattvam poshan apavrunu satya dharmaya drishtaye. Please take away the glaring effulgence, which is the Brahma Jyoti, from your transcendental body so that we can see your transcendental personality. That will give us nourishment. And that is seen by Satya Dharmaya Drishtai. Someone who is meditating on the supreme truth, the supreme religion. This is the story of 16,100 wives of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And Srila Prabhupada mentions that, and each of them had 10 sons. So there were 161,080 sons. And they all grew up, and each of them as many sons as their father. The whole aggregate was something like 1,610,800 family members of the Lord. Srila Prabhupada mentions the father of all living beings who are countless in number. Therefore, only a few of them are called to associate with the Lord in his transcendental pastimes as the Lord of Dwaraka on this earth. So all the associates of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna, direct associates of the Supreme Lord. Srila Prabhupada gives this example in many of his lectures about how when a chief of a country, for example, a president or prime minister, or a king if it is a monarchy, if they're traveling from one place to another place, they do not travel alone. They travel with their whole entourage. And this is exactly the same case. What to speak of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is called Akhilanda Koti Brahmanda Nayakam. What does that mean, Akhilanda Koti Brahmanda Nayakam? So Krishna is the controller, the owner of unlimited Brahmandas, universes. So what to speak of the Supreme Personality of Godhead when he is incarnating in this earthly planet? Everyone, all of his associates will come and they will provide that wonderful environment where the reciprocation of the loving relationship happens. Because the whole scripture, the whole basis of the whole existence is love for the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Prema Pumartho Mahan. This is said by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And appearance of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also mentions Krishna Varnam Tvisha Krishnam Sangopangastra Parshadam Yagyai Sankirtanai Prayer Yajanti Hi Sumedasa. This is mentioned in Srimad-Bhagavatam. So Sangopangastra Parshadam. When the Supreme Personality of Godhead is incarnating, all his associates are coming along with him. And all the pastimes of the Supreme Personality of Godhead is with his eternal transcendental associates. So they are Nitya Siddha, Kripa Siddha, and Sadhana Siddha. Siddha means one who has attained perfection, one who has attained one who has regained the lost relationship with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The relationship is already there. Nitya Siddha Krishna Prema Sadhya Kabo Noy. As it is mentioned in Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, that it is not something that is external to us. Love for the Lord. Love for the Lord is already established. in the heart of all the living entities. It is an intrinsic part of the spirit soul. Because the spirit soul is part and parcel of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So it is not that it has to be gained from external. We always have it within us. It's a matter of introspecting. It's a matter of looking inside. And unfortunately, in this age of Kali, this introspection is losing its value because of thousands of distractions that is available at fingertips. So therefore, it is mentioned by Shukadeva Goswami to Parikshit Maharaj that Shrotavyadini Rajendra Nranam Santi Sahasrasa Apashyatam Atmatattvam Graheshu Grahamedina. Shukadeva Goswami is saying that the person who is engrossed in material activities is hearing the subject matters, thousands of subject matters, Nranam Santi Sahasrasa, which has got no relationship with the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna. There is one thing here that the relationship, everything is finally, if we look in a different perspective, there is nothing that is not related to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, because everything is His energy. We look anywhere. Yumam pashyati sarvatra sarvam cha me pashyati tasyaham na pranashyami sacha me na pranashyati. So Krishna says, as one who sees me in everything and everything in me, such a person never forgets me and I never forget such a person. So in that respect, there is nothing which is non-different from the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But unless one actually reaches that stage of seeing the Supreme Personality of Godhead everywhere, one has to practice. And that is the sadhana siddha. So sadhana siddha is that category of the devotee who reaches the state of perfection of re-establishing the loving relationship with the Supreme Personality of Godhead through sadhana, through the practice of evam prasanna manaso bhagavad bhakti yogata bhagavad tattva vijnanam mukta sangasya jayate. So that is the sadhana siddha, who is practicing with prasanna manasa. The mind is fully blissful, and in that blissful state of mind, one is practicing Bhagavad Bhakti. That is a loving devotional service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And what happens when there is Bhagavad Tattva Vijnanam? When one understands the real truth about the Supreme Personality of Godhead, which is actually science. It's a science, Vijnanam. We had discussed this in the previous verse discussion as well, last Monday, about why it is a science. Spirituality is science. Krishna consciousness is science. Because it is based on application. We apply the chanting of Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama. So we are practicing, we are applying the chanting of the holy names of Krishna with full devotion, with full concentration. And then we are seeing what is the difference. And immediately we understand what is the difference. So the proof of the pudding is in the eating, as the saying goes. So the proof of spirituality is in practice. There would be many people who are antagonistic to spirituality, who are against spirituality. And because their basic frame of mind is unfortunately against spirituality, they are getting all these ideas which are against the scriptures. Bhogaishwarya prasaktanam taya aparata chetasam vyavasayatmika buddhi samadho na vidhyate. As Krishna mentions in Bhagavad Gita, that when one is attached to bhoga and aishwarya, bhoga is enjoying the material objects, and aishwarya is being proud of all the accumulations that one has. So when one is attached to those things, bhoga aishwarya prasaktanam, that's a very strong attachment, then unfortunately taya apaharita chetasam. So their mind has unfortunately been apaharita. Krishna uses the word apaharita, that is kidnapped, taken away. So rakshasim mohinim shrita. Moghasha moga karmana moga jnana vichetasa. Rakshasim asurim chaiva. Prakritim mohinim shrita. Krishna mentions that this is the unfortunate thing. Prakritim mohinim shrita. The material energy becomes so enamoring. It catches all the attention, the focus. And unfortunately, one does not see who is behind that wonderful display of this wonderful energy. Athva bahunetena kim gyatena tavarjuna vishtabhyaham idam Kṛṣṇam ekanshena sthito jagat. Krishna mentions about different, how he is present everywhere. Rasoham apsu kaunteya prabhasmi shashi suryayo pranavas sarva vedeshu shabdam khe paurusham nrishu. So Krishna says that I am the taste in the water. So if someone is drinking water, immediately one can remember the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna. So Krishna is saying I am the taste in the water. And any kind of liquid. Because it is based on the water. Rasoham apsu kaunteya prabhasmi shashi suryayo. When there is this light of sunlight coming, when one is seeing the moonlight in the night, one can immediately remember this is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Prabhasmi shashi shabdam pranavas sarva vedeshu. There is this Om mantra in all the literatures. Om namo bhagavate vasudevaya. Om namo narayanaya. Om iti ekaksharam mantra vyaharan ma manusmaran yat tyajati sadeham yasti natriyatra samshaya. Krishna actually mentions in Bhagavad Gita as well. If one is saying Om and remembering the Supreme Personality of Godhead while taking the last breath, he says that such a person comes back to me. There is not even an iota of doubt. That is the power of Om. So pranavas sarva vedeshu shabdam khe paurusham nrishu. So any noise that is coming in that, or any kind of things that we are hearing, any shabda, any kind of word, any kind of song, any kind of noise, any kind of voice, whatever is in the atmosphere, Krishna says that I am shabdam khe paurusham nrishu. And any kind of capability that we see, which is brilliant capability across any domain in this whole universe, Krishna says the ability is me. This is the way of remembering the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And this is the goal of listening to these verses. When we're listening, so, and then Srila Prabhupada actually mentions here as well, it is not astonishing that the Lord maintained a visible family consisting of so many members. So this comes back to that faith, the understanding of the most important thing of having Shraddha. Shraddha shabde vishwas karile sudhrida nishchay, Krishne bhakti kaile sarva karma krita hai. So the topmost faith is such that one is in such a situation of faith that they understand that just by involving in devotional service, all the other activities are performed. That is the topmost faith. Krishna bhakti kaile sarva karma krita hai. By doing Krishna bhakti, all the other activities are automatically performed. That is the topmost Shraddha. So here, this is very important. It is to have the faith in terms of understanding the divinity of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Janma karmam cha me divyam evam yo veti tattvata. So that the birth and the activities of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna, are divine, transcendental. And this should be known in truth, in reality. As real as we are looking at something in the material world. How real does it seem when we look something in the material world? It seems as if that is the only reality. Even though that reality is temporary, momentary. So the experience of pastimes of Krishna should be as real as we experience something in this moment. That is real faith. And when that faith is existing, then even though there might be dangers in this material world, padam padam yatvipadam, this material world, at every step there is danger, it is said in the scripture. Why? Because it is totally based on an ephemeral existence. It is based on this body which is changing at every moment. Why is it that when we see one person today and we see a person after 10 years, we see the same person and then we say, oh, you have changed so much. What happened? So 10 years and the person's bodily structure has changed. Is it that the change suddenly happened in the 10th year? No. Change happens at every moment. Each and every moment the change is happening. And that small changes over many years becomes a huge change. That is the nature of this material world. It is constantly changing. Na sato vidyate bhavo, na bhavo vidyate sata. Ubhayor api drishtantas tvanayos tattvadarshibhi. What na sato vidyate bhavo. So what is constantly changing, it is not enduring. Na bhavo vidyate sata. And what is enduring never changes. And that we are. And when we understand that, then yasya naham krito bhavo buddhir yasya na lipyate hatvapi sa iman lokan na hanti na nibadhyate. So Krishna says that one who is acting on the platform of no false ego. Yasya na ahankrito bhavo. Ahankara. Prakriti kriyamanani gunai karmani sarvasha ya pashyati tathatmanam akartaram sa pashyati. So actually, all the activities are being done by the modes of material nature. And therefore, there is this wonderful story in the scriptures about the gopis actually wanting to go to the other side of the Yamuna because Durvasa Muni and his disciples are there. and they want to give them the food to eat. And the Yamuna is full of water and it is flooded. And Krishna says that to the gopis that you tell to the Yamuna that I am Naishtika Brahmachari, I am a Nitya Brahmachari, and Yamuna will give you the way. The gopis are saying that how can you be Naishtika Brahmachari? The Naishtika Brahmachari means one who has not associated with any woman at any point in life. So then they do as Krishna say, gopis. They say that if Krishna is actually a Naishtika Nitya Brahmachari, then please give us the way. And Yamuna gives the way. And the gopis cross across. And then they give the food to Durvasa Muni and his disciples. And then they have to go back. They have to go back to Vrindavan. And again, there is this, how do they go back? So Durvasa Muni says that I am a Nitya Upavasi. Nitya Upavasi means one who has never taken a grain. So Durvasa Muni is saying that tell to Yamuna that I am a Nitya Upavasi and Yamuna will give you the way. So the gopis do that and then Yamuna gives the way. So they come back to Krishna and ask, how is it that you are actually not a Nitya Brahmachari? And Durvasa Muni is actually not a Nitya Upavasi. And still this has happened, that we were able to go across the Yamuna without the boat. And the Yamuna gave us the way. Because it was considered as the truth, axiomatic truth. How is it? Then this is the understanding. The understanding is, yasya naham krito bhavo, buddhir yasya na lipyate, hatvapi sa iman lokan na hanti na nipatyate. So when one is acting from the state of spiritual energy, understanding that the actual spirit's only duty is to love the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Nothing else the spirit does. And if one is doing all the activities from that platform, from that state of mind, one could do anything but never be bound by it. The binding happens because of the false ego. The false ego makes the person think that I am the doer. Ahankara vimudhatma karta hamiti manyate. Prakriti kriyamanani gunai karmani sarvasha. So actually all the activities are being performed by the modes of material nature. Immediately when there is a material body, it is modes of material nature that is doing the work. Of course, in case of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he doesn't have any material body. Everything about the Supreme Personality of Godhead is spiritual. And in that case, if everything is spirit, where is the question of any activity being done? It is because the spirit is always Atma Ramasya Munaya Nigranthapi Urukrame Kurvanti Ahitukim Bhakti Mitham Bhuta Guno Hari. The spirit is always full in itself and in the relationship with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So that because there is that relationship is seen always between the spirit soul and the super soul and the Supreme Personality of Godhead, there is that Kurvanti Ahaitukim Bhakti. That Ahaituki nature is that costless nature. Ahaituki apratihata yayatma suprasidati. So it is mentioned in Srimad-Bhagavatam that what is the supreme dharma? Savai pumsam paro dharmo. What is it? That yato bhaktir adhokshache. It is rendering loving devotional service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who cannot be seen by blunt material senses or heard by blunt material senses or remembered by blunt material senses. Adhakrita akshaja, one who cannot be seen by blunt material eyes. That is adhokshaja. So that is the real devotional service. That is costless, ahaytuki and apratihata, and it cannot be checked under any circumstance. The devotional service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead cannot be checked. The devotee is so much attached to the Supreme Personality of Godhead that whatever be the condition, it does not matter. The devotional service will still go on. Because that is the intrinsic nature of the pure devotee of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The intrinsic nature is in relationship with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And that is what is seen in this verse when we are talking about his sons, Suṣeṇa, Cārudeṣṇa, Sāmba, and Ṛṣabha. That is mentioned in this verse. And their sons, the grandsons of Kṛṣṇa. Everyone related to Kṛṣṇa in these pastimes. They're all eternally in relationship with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So in the end, Srila Prabhupada mentions in the purport, it is better to refrain from comparing the Lord's position to ours. And it becomes a simple truth as soon as we understand at least a partial calculation of the Lord's transcendental position. So Kṛṣṇa actually mentions, Name vidu suragana prabhavana maharshaya, aham adirhi devana, maharshinam cha sarvasha. Kṛṣṇa says that even the great demigods don't know me. And even the great sages don't know my origin. Because I am the origin of aham adirhi devana, all the demigods and all the sages, maharshinam cha sarvasha. King Yudhishthira, while inquiring about the Lord's sons and grandsons at Dwaraka, mentioned only the chieftains among them, for it was impossible for him to remember all the names of the Lord's family members. So this was the huge family. Srila Prabhupada mentioned it's around 1,610,800 family members. So how can one remember all the names? But here Srila Yudhishthira Maharaj is asking to Arjuna about the chief sons and the grandsons and everyone else. He mentions all. Are they all doing well? So this is the sum and substance, and the main takeaway, if you want, from this verse is to understand that it is the Shraddha shabde vishwas karile sudrida nishchay, Krishna bhakti kaile sarva karma krita, Shraddhavan labate jnanam, tatparat samyate indriya, jnanam lagdva param shantim prapchisi shashvatam. So this understanding that one has to have the faith in terms of understanding these pastimes of Krishna, that they are real. They are as real as the seemingly real world that we momentarily experience at every moment. If that is the understanding that we are eternal. We are eternally related to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So let us pray that we always revel in that understanding and revel in that nature of understanding our direct relationship with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. With that, I would like to conclude this discussion. Have a look at if there is any questions or comments here. Rudra Vrishank saying Radhe Radhe, Harshasha Hare Krishna, Abhishek Tripathi Hare Rama Hare Krishna, Newton Podar Hare Krishna, Ajay Kumar Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare. Thank you, Ajay Kumar, for the whole Mahamantra, typing in the whole Mahamantra, Hare Krishna, Radhe Radhe Aman Kumar. Thank you all very much for your time. We will conclude this discussion. Srimad-Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. All glories to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देश तारिणे सर्वं श्री कृष्णार्पणमस्तु कृष्णे मतिरस्तु हरे कृष्ण. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.